This is Expose UX, where startup founders seek help from user experience experts.
When I saw that first screen, it didn't jump out to me really until you started explaining it.
So it might be a little confusing as to what I can click on and what I can't.
For the sake of their users, these founders place their egos aside.
I don't think you've done your homework.
I'm completely confused.
Whether wireframes are fully launched, the experts help them advance their products. I'm your host, Richard Breving. When I released my product, RivalSeek, over 30% of users were confused by it. I understood why, but didn't know how to fix it. That's when I turned to the experts, and now you can too. Let's meet them.
Adam Polansky is a UX strategist for Bottle Rocket Studios. Elisa Miller is a principal UX designer for CA Technologies. And Jeremy Johnson is vice president of customer experience for Project 202. Special thanks to the User Experience Professionals Association, Dallas Chapter. And also to Big Design Conference, September 8th through 10th, 2016 in Dallas, Texas. Filmed on location in the co-working space Fort Work in the Alto 211 building.
Neil, Julian, and Bobby, welcome to Expose UX. Could you provide a little background on your company?
I'm Neil Sarwal, and our company is PeerLink. We're a peer-to-peer tutoring service that basically connects students who need help in a subject to a peer in their community who's skilled in that subject.
Great, okay. Could you walk us through your product?
Yeah, so our main platform is our website, and this is our home screen. So when you go to the website, this is what you get. So this is our student dashboard. So as you can see, Neil here, who's our student, has a few upcoming sessions that he has to go to. So we chose like cards to go with this because we think that it really fits the theme. And we have three main sections here. We have an overview, pending sessions, which is where if you request a session with the tutor, it'll show up here before they confirm that they're able to make it. And then a section to edit their profile. So if we go ahead, we want to search for a tutor. We'll pick Bobby. So this is what it looks like from our end. We see that Bobby, we see some background information on Bobby, such as his GPA, his standardized test scores, which are all important things when you're looking for a tutor. We want to book a session with Bobby now, and we see a simple screen where you just pick a date, a location, and a subject. So we're just going to go with the defaults here. So now we can see that we have 2 pending sessions. So if we go ahead and go to Bobby's dashboard, we can see it's the same style, just that there's a few things that are a little bit different. So on the top here, it shows how much money Bobby's made with us. So he's tutored 4 times and he's made $60, and it shows his rating. So right now he's at 3.5 stars, and he wants to try and fix that. So he's gonna confirm these sessions with Neil. As you can see, we confirmed it. And so it automatically moves to the upcoming sessions. So now say that they have finished their session and Neil is super happy. So Bobby's going to go ahead and confirm that it's completed. And then so it'll show up in previous sessions now for Neil. So we can go ahead and write a review for Bobby, say 5 stars, and Bobby's amazing. So we go ahead and submit that, and then that's all taken care of. So we can go back to Bobby and we can see that his rating increased. So that's our main platform for web. We also have a mobile app kind of detailing like confirming sessions. It's more of like a quick access thing.
So I like orange. That's a lot of orange. In fact,
Yeah.
everything is orange, and so I can't tell what's an action, what's a button, what's a tab, what's a field. Why is there so much orange?
So we picked orange as our main color theme, mainly because we think that orange like reflects our target market as high schoolers and like the whole tutoring market itself. And we felt that like keeping it simple with 2 colors, orange and white, would be our best option.
So you're probably gonna need some more colors in there,
Okay.
or some more delineation at least between the actions and some of the content, right?
Yeah.
I would really like to see a calendar for the tutors, because they might want to start indicating on Monday I'm available from this hour to this hour, so that those folks who are looking for tutors would be able to look at times available. I'd like to see some kind of search for tutors by subject, which I don't know if you have here yet or if you haven't gotten to that. And these may be advanced things that you would be looking for. But I know if I were looking to be a tutor, I'd want to say, I'm available these days, these hours, and here are the subjects. On the flip side, if I was looking for a tutor, I'd really like to know who's best in Chem 1 or Bio 2 or calculus or whatever.
Yeah, so these are all features that we plan on adding in the futures. We plan to integrate with Google Calendars and Calendly, which will make it simple on the tutor's end. And then more complete searching, like you said, so by subject, by age, by location, and stuff like that.
Is the site responsive?
Yes.
You sound hesitant. So I feel like, because you mentioned the mobile app, which seemed a bit more like an afterthought, and it seemed like the feature parity wasn't quite there. You were thinking of it as an addition, but really mobile, I mean, usually I would argue in the student space especially, right? Like mobile may be their only way of accessing this information.
Right, so what we were thinking is that it's not really going to be the students who are booking the sessions, it's going to be their parents. And I believe that parents are more comfortable with a web rather than a mobile. So this mobile is more for the students, whereas the web is for the parents who want to go and book the session.
Okay. I mean, I will give you that, but there is definitely in the UX side of philosophy around mobile first, right? And if you can make it work on mobile, then obviously you can make it work on desktop as well.
Yeah.
You're going to find too that assumption is shifting.
Okay, right.
Don't necessarily assume that the folks are going to be wanting to do it on desktop because they're trucking around with their mobile devices too. And when the question came up about responsive, I think I had the same question, only the reason I was asking is because I feel like in terms of layout, you've got a lot of these very sort of tight blocks of text,
right?
Okay, which are pretty dense. You've got a lot more room that you could use, and so if you go back to the screen where you had the card index,
this one,
there might be some things there that you could emphasize a little bit more to make those, particularly if that gets loaded up, that's got to be pretty scannable. And right now it's pretty hard to scan because you've got this monotone color layout and everything is pretty much the same size within the blocks. So you need to be able to find what are the key points of information within those cards and find some way to visually emphasize those so that they become more scannable.
And you have upcoming sessions and previous sessions, right, kind of on par with each other. I would argue that probably upcoming sessions are more important, right? So you have kind of a lack of kind of hierarchy, right, for the information and what's most important.
Yeah.
And the profile screen you showed, right, obviously almost every app nowadays has a profile, and I feel like yours was very different from other ones, and you could probably lean on some other popular platforms that have profile pages and maybe, use some of those patterns, right?
Okay.
And I want to ask you a little bit about the previous sessions. Have you talked to any of the users about tracking the previous sessions and what is the value to them? I mean, to the tutor it'd be nice because it might go into an area that shows them what they've been paid for, who the client was or the student and so forth. As a user or a student, I'm not sure how much value the previous sessions are if it's simply clocking, here's what I did and here's who I talked to.
Right.
What is the value in that?
So the students, it's more of a way to see how much they've done. So if they're able to see I've done 5 sessions in calculus with Bobby and my calculus grade raised 5 points, there's obviously a pattern there and you want to continue doing that. But if you've done 5 sessions with Neil and your calculus grade drops 5 points, then obviously there's a problem and you want to have a kind of history to know what you've done and whether it's worked or not.
I mean, showing progress could be something to entice people to continue on or to tell their friends, right?
Yeah.
So some kind of feedback, right? And I don't know if can they plug their grades in here and you notice their grades go up, and can you track that and actually showcase that people are?
We were planning on other features like a GPA calculator and just other small tools that you can access from the website.
I mean, you have the reviews in there, which is kind of a first step in the feedback, but when you start collecting all this data, there's probably more interesting things that you could do with it to display it, right? So who in your team is the designer?
That would be kind of all 3 of us, really, but mainly Bobby.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, again, just going back to the color scheme, right, and delineation around being obviously monochrome, but just the patterns. Like I feel like I'm seeing different types of patterns used in different ways in different parts of the site. So a good practice would be to kind of collect what those key patterns are that you're going to use and really try to stick with that palette of patterns instead of inventing new patterns every page that you guys create, right?
Okay.
And this type of thing of connecting people in this kind of new economy, right, is there seems to be a new startup every day that's connecting people to whatever, mow your lawn or get your laundry or do whatever, right? So I mean, I think there are a lot of patterns out there and a lot of people that potentially are further along than you are, who have invested a lot of money, right, that you could actually kind of look to see how they're kind of achieving some of those goals, right?
And I'd like to go back to your forms. Is there a way to add subjects if you are a tutor and you wanted to add something that wasn't in that list?
Yeah, actually, you can add anything you want.
I was going to say, I think the forms are fine. The only thing, the only acrobatic things that they do really happen when you begin to interact with them, but that doesn't get in the way of the interaction.
Right.
That I think that would be the stumbling block if there was one. The only other thing that I could see is, again, you've got small text and a lot of space. It might be a little hard to see. I kind of like the little lift that happens when you begin to type something in. So you've brought a little bit of a cinematic flair to that. But I think the forms are fine as long as you can read them.
Yeah.
I mean, on the marketing side, right, the splash page doesn't have a lot. I saw there was a click here to learn more kind of button, so I don't know what was there. But, if you're getting testimonials and you can kind of strip out the names and showcase, show what it's like to be at a coffee shop with someone, right? Like that might be a new experience for some people. So there's probably some things on the marketing side you could do to alleviate some of that fear of like, how does this work? Where am I meeting this person? Is there is there a security issue here?
Yeah.
I'd like to see you guys go out and test this with some parents and some students. And find out about particularly the color issue that Jeremy raised. I think he's onto something there. It's pretty stark, and some people are not. It doesn't quite have the professionalism look that you probably want to go for.
Okay.
Yeah, I think maybe thinking of it again as a mobile first, right? Because obviously, again, as Adam mentioned, everyone's shifting, right? Even parents, and then kind of taking your UI elements and really kind of focusing in on what key patterns you want to use, and then keep it consistent throughout that experience.
The purpose of it jumps right out, and the value of that jumps right out. I think that's great. What we're talking about here are really just some finesse points that I think will make it easier to use. But I think you're definitely on the right track.
Okay.
Thank you for coming. We hope that the feedback has been helpful.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.